Only in Kentucky could one county launch a retail empire, fuel an early oil boom, and still have kids daring each other to call out for Martha on a bridge after dark. Hi, I'm Michael. I want to teach you a little bit more about Kentucky. One county at a time. All 120 of them. And today we're talking about Allen County. Again, because I got it so wrong the first time. Allen County was formed in 1815 from parts of Barren and Warren counties, and it was named after Colonel John Allen, a Kentucky legislator and war hero killed at the Battle of the River Raisin. The seat is Scottsville. It was laid out the following year, named for Governor Charles Scott. It was placed exactly where it was because of a steady water spring bubbling out of a hillside. They called it the Public Spring, and it gave the new town its lifeline. Now, before there was a courthouse or even a name, settlers had been filtering into the Barren River Valley since the late 1790s. Families like the Craigs and Ficklins and Monroes cleared land, planted corn, and built rough log cabins along the creeks. The first church appeared by 1801. It was a small United Baptist congregation that met a few miles northeast of what became Scottsville. Once the county formed, officials met in a log courthouse. It was replaced in 1818 by a two-story brick building, and then that was destroyed later in a fire in 1902. In those early years, the Barren River was Allen County's highway. Steamboats carried everything from flour to timber, and a salt works at Port Oliver turned out about 300 bushels a week. Small mills lined the creeks, and by the 1880s, the railroad reached Scottsville, tying the county to Bowling Green and beyond. It turned a remote farming community into more of a regional trading hub. Like a lot of places, the Civil War split Allen County right down the middle. Two of its own state senators were expelled from office for supporting the Confederacy. John Hunt Morgan's cavalry swept through here on one of its raids in 1862, and that same year, guerrillas temporarily captured Scottsville before Union troops took it back. After the war, new industries arrived. Tobacco, corn, and hay dominated the countryside, but in 1913, oil changed things. The first producing well came in just south of Scottsville, and within a few years, the southern part of the county, around a place called Petroleum and Meter, was dotted with derricks. The boom didn't last long, but it left a mark, and as you can guess, the community of Petroleum got its name straight from that oil rush. Allen County sits on the edge of the Pennyroyal Plateau, limestone bedrock riddled with springs and sinkholes that meant steady water and rich soil, but also the occasional cave collapse that would swallow barns and fence lines. By the turn of the century, there were roughly 60 rural schools scattered across Allen County. They mostly were one-room buildings heated by wood stoves. The Rosenwald School in Scottsville, built in the early 1900s for black students, still stands as one of the few surviving examples of such schools in south central Kentucky. Scottsville is the only incorporated city, but Allen County's smaller communities each have their own stories, of course. Head south towards the Tennessee line and you'll hit Adolphus. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. It was once a busy stop in the Louisville and Nashville Railroad line, and it took the name from Adolphus Alexander, a railroad agent who helped secure the depot. When the trains ran daily, Adolphus had stores, a blacksmith, and even a small hotel for travelers. A few miles west sits Holland, another rail town that grew around a post office in the 1880s. Holland became a center for livestock sales and later for tobacco warehouses. Families from both sides of the state line came there to auction off their crops every fall, and I believe the old Holland store still stands. Meter started as a stagecoach stop and later became a drilling site during the oil booms of the early 1900s. It's quiet now, but you can still see some of the remnants of the old pump jacks in the woods. Closer to Barren River Lake is the tiny community of Halfway, supposedly named because it was halfway between Bowling Green and Scottsville on the Old Pike Road. In the 1930s, the Great Depression hit Allen County hard, but one local family changed the story. In 1939, J.L. Turner and his son Cal opened a small dry goods store on Main Street in Scottsville. They called it J.L. Turner and Son. Business grew fast, and by the mid-1950s, they tried a new idea. A store where nothing cost more than $1. And then they named it Dollar General. And that experiment in Scottsville became one of the most successful retail models in the country. Barren River Lake, completed in the 1960s, flooded thousands of acres, including what was once Kentucky's largest farm, but it brought new life as a recreation hub. Fishermen, campers, and boaters now fill the marinas and coves every summer. The highway network, US 231 and Kentucky 100, kept Scottsville connected even though rail traffic faded. Manufacturing arrived in waves. General Electric built a motor plant. Sumamoto set up a wiring facility and small machine shops opened around town, and still farming stayed central. Nearly 200,000 acres of Allen County land are used for agriculture. A few Allen Countyans have gone on to make their mark far beyond Kentucky. Evangelist Mordecai Ham, born just outside Scottsville, led revivals across the South in the early 1900s and famously converted a young Billy Graham in 1934. Actor Charles Napier, whose gruff voice and square jaw made him a Hollywood staple in shows like The Blues Brothers and Silence of the Lambs, he grew up there too. And basketball fans will know Jim McDaniels, an Allen County High School standout who started at Western Kentucky University and later played professionally in both the ABA and the NBA. The Halcombe House Museum keeps 19th century medical instruments and furniture on display, offering a glimpse of frontier medicine. And if you need a ghost story, let's talk about Martha's Bridge. I think it's on White's Chapel Road by Falling Timber Creek. The story goes that back in the late 1800s, a wagon went off the bridge, or maybe there was a flood, and a young woman named Martha drowned, supposedly. Now folks will park on the bridge, cut the engine, and call her name, and allegedly, if you say Martha 3 times, folks will say that the air gets cold and fog creeps up from the creek, and some claim they've seen lights in the trees and tiny handprints on their cars after saying Martha 3 times. So that's Allen County. What'd I get wrong this time?